Welcome to Time for Hope, a faith-based mental health program. Join our host, certified clinical mental health counselor and Christian psychotherapist Dr. Freda Cruz, and her guests as they discuss real-life issues and offer expert clinical advice and solid biblical application for any and all life situations. Now, here's the host of Time for Hope, Dr. Freda Cruz.
Thanks for joining us on Time for Hope. I'm Dr. Freda Cruz, your host, and my guest for today is psychologist Dr. Gregory Jantz, who has written a book with Anne McMurray titled Overcoming Anxiety, Worry, and Fear. Ready or not, we have moved into a new year, and it is an uncharted sea. But we have the choice of worrying and fearing about what is ahead for us as individuals and as a nation, or learning and practicing practical ways to find an inner peace in the midst of facing the presently known and the challenge of facing the unknown. During our discussion of his book, Dr. Jantz and I will attempt to guide you down the paths of positive changes that can help you live a more peaceful and meaningful life. For more, stay with us. And Gregory, I want to thank you again for coming all the way from the state of Washington and writing another great book that we're going to be talking about. And of course, while I had you here, I did 2 shows, and so this is the second show airing. And our guests will be happy to see that you're on again, I'm sure.
Good. I hope so, because this topic is called the disease of our age.
And that is anxiety, worry, and fear.
Yes.
And if you were to be honest with me and the guests, you really would have to admit if there's ever been an age where we could almost excuse this disease, as it were, it would be that age, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, the anxiousness, the uncertainty. Here we are at a new year, and there's a lot of things we don't know, and we've been carrying, hopefully not too much stress, but here we are. And anxiety, by the way, is probably the second most diagnosed depression. The World Health Organization says is going to be the #1, they call it a disease, in the world by year 2020. So we have depression and anxiety, which really go hand in hand.
Yes, if you have one as a general rule, most of the time you're going to have the other. But we have more in this age right now to stir it up with TV and newscasters and journalists keeping it going all the time than any other age, any other generation, I think, too. Would you agree with that?
You know, yes. There's if we saturate ourselves in that, we're going to feel anxiousness. And we probably should define, you know, there's anxiety and there's worry. And worry is different than anxiety.
Oh, please give us, an explanation of that.
You know, we're all human beings, and we are going to worry over a few things.
Yeah, the Lord only addressed anxiety in the scriptures.
And worry is a mental process. I might worry, am I going to do a good job for Dr. Freda? I'm worried. What if?
That's going to make you anxious.
If I keep recycling it, because it's a mental process, I can create anxiety. And you know when you've got anxiety, you got the sweaty palms, you feel it in your stomach. There's a physical response with anxiety.
A shakiness, you can have tremors, you can shake.
You might have just free-floating anxiety that just, you wake up in the morning and go, what is wrong? And I can't seem to brush it off. And maybe I wake up in the night and I just feel my mind racing. And you've got anxiousness.
So is that the GAD that you refer to?
Well,
what is it? Generalized anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
That can be a real mental disorder.
Well, I think the estimates are 20 million Americans. Now, it's probably more than that, really, have somewhere on the continuum generalized anxiety disorder. That's that free-floating anxiousness, and you look for ways to bring comfort into your life. Maybe you've done some addictive behaviors, maybe you're overtaking pills, maybe you're escaping through TV, but you've found your place of anxiety in your life, and you're looking for comfort.
Yes. You know, when and then let's go through the 5 that you have here.
Sure.
The GAD that we just talked about, panic attacks, phobias, OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder, and PTSD, which of course we're hearing a lot about with returning military.
Sure.
personnel. But when I was treating a client or patient with panic attacks, I always saw it as excessive anxiety finally coming together and presenting itself with. It has to blow, as it were, and when it blows, I see it as creating these panic attacks.
You know, a gentleman that came in from Florida to work with us was driving down the freeway, and all of a sudden his heart started racing. He broke out in a sweat. He's in the middle of the freeway. He's thinking he's having a heart attack, and his chest is pounding, and everything he could get to stay focused to get his car over to the side of the road. And he thought he was having a heart attack, and he sits there, and in about 10 minutes it passes. He was having a panic attack. Ultimately, if you're under a lot of chronic stress, you've got a lot of anxiety, the body may just get tired of carrying that around, and it's going to say, I'm going to
slow.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And I think with panic, it's the fear, because you never know, when's this going to happen again? What can I do about it? So that's a panic attack.
But they did determine, and they have determined, that there can be a chemical imbalance very much involved with panic attacks, and that they can be treated with certain medications. And I've had that happen with clients. And I also have traced a lot of panic attacks to unresolved or grief. That they have, they're still in carrying grief over the loss of someone in their life. That includes guilt, that they didn't handle something right. That includes other things, and it kind of winds up into them having panic attacks. And once we could find, where they were having them, and what, so on and so forth. Very often, that gave me the key to dig into something like unfinished grief work.
No, that's why we've got to deal with the whole person. We've got to deal with the emotions, deal with the core issues. Absolutely.
Then we know phobias.
Yes.
There's some people can't even leave their houses. Gregory, you know that. They're scared. They're so fearful they will not leave their home.
Right. The agoraphobia. Yes.
Well,
there's specific. We hear a lot of arachnophobia, the fear of spiders, for example. Now, phobias is a specific fear over some specific item. Usually, it's because there's been some trauma, something happened. I had a gentleman, he had gotten bit on a spider bite, thought nothing of it, but it was a poisonous one, and it caused him a lot of problems. So this gentleman now, I mean, if there's a spider, he's having a trigger, a response to that. So phobias are more common than what we may suspect. And phobias, we take a little bit different approach when we deal with a phobia than we would maybe a panic attack.
Of course. I have a grandson that has a phobia related to birds.
Okay.
Certain birds, or if he sees birds coming close. And then the OCD. That's such a broad spectrum there. OCD. It even fits into the autistic spectrum.
So it's obsessive compulsive disorder, and this, we think of the classic of washing my hands over and over, checking the locks. But OCD can take other forms. What ends up doing is I have to engage in this behavior to try to relieve the anxiety, and if I don't, I feel more anxious. But then I become repetitive. And it doesn't work.
So you're really saying, I advocate with OCD, those behaviors like you're talking about, checking the locks, doing this, doing that, to go along with it rather than fight it. Resistance begets resistance very often with OCD. But it also fits into addictions and having to drink alcohol or having to,
there's a reason for every behavior we do. Some of the behaviors we do are self-destructive, but there's a reason for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the PTSD. Let's talk a little bit about that. That's
stress
so
disorder.
Relevant right now.
Well, we think oftentimes, Dr. Freda, of just the veterans, but let's say it's much more, it's probably one of the more common things that we see when people come to see us. And they've had some trauma in their life of some sort, and it's never really been resolved. And so today they may be having nightmares, they may be waking up, they have this anxiety that seems like it's following them around, they have depression, and it's this post-traumatic stress. And this is a form of fear that kind of, in a way, can be haunting because it's like it just can't get rid of it.
And we do know that our military men come home, many of them come home with that, and it can, I know that it can destroy families because you get into relationships and how these, this anxiety, worry, and fear affects close-up relationships especially.
Right.
It's a sad thing when you've seen your friend fall dead, shot dead beside you, or your friend's legs blown off in a roadside bomb. And so we have to, as it were, empathize and even have sympathy for them as they come home with those disorders. But they must be treated. As a general rule, they cannot handle that themselves.
Yeah. Well, so often the post-traumatic stress and addictions go hand in hand because we look for a way to numb out.
Self-medicate. You talk a lot about self-medicating in your book, and under self-medication, you've got alcohol, drugs. I even threw in illicit sex. I see it as a way that some people self-medicate. Smoking, you said nicotine, whichever way you use it. Food can be self-medicating. Grab food, a comfort food.
It'd be a great number.
Anger.
Yep.
Self-harming, we know about that, how people harm themselves, holding on to stuff. That's OCD also, isn't it? And real quick, tell me, Gregory, what happens to reality when we give place to anxiety or worry?
When we give place to anxiety and worry, we start looking through the world through only the lens of anxiousness, and it distorts reality. There is a point we can cross a line and we lose touch with what reality really is. We also, if we have a lot of anxiety...
Define reality real quick.
Well, just living in the real world and not everything's distorted.
And it's also the way you view the world, isn't it? It involves the way you view the world.
Right, yes.
This could be my reality and not be your reality, so to speak. So I interrupted you. What else were you saying?
Well, I was going to add that anxiety then distorts. We sometimes believe that people are saying things and we misinterpret things.
We get paranoid.
We get paranoid. We begin to think things that really aren't true.
And that can come from our past, ghosts of the past that you've referred to, and other are things that have happened to us, and we keep that fear of them happening again and keep allowing it to build, right?
That's right. That's right.
Well, they're telling me it's time for a break.
All righty.
And we're going to pick up with some more I'm going to have some more questions for you when we come back, and we will be right back. Fear, a component of anxiety, was designed to be a natural and healthy survival response to threat of harm. Once a real or imagined threat is registered by the brain, it sets in motion a pattern of biological and chemical actions that generate a flee or fight response, which initially produces fear related to our physical or emotional safety. Fear gears our bodies up for action, and if our biochemical responses to it remain in a prolonged state, our bodies will begin to suffer. Prolonged fear and anxiety, or worry as we sometimes call it, produces stress hormones which can eventually damage the heart, weaken the immune system, and harm the brain. To stop the process, you must identify your fears. Sort out the real threats from the imagined ones. Find ways to live with the real and discount the false ones by replacing your distorted thinking with truth and reality. The Serenity Prayer expresses it well. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Other recommendations for combating fear include massage therapy, exercise, meditation, learning to experience life in the moment, music, laughter, and a thankful spirit. Learning to take life one day at a time, since we can't change the past and can't know what our future holds, can empower us to do what needs to be done for the present time. And remember that today is the tomorrow that you worried about yesterday. For myself, such things as sitting on my back deck and listening to the singing of the birds or enjoying a beautiful sunset can ease my anxious soul. And meditating on promises from God's Word such as, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God," can create a peace and fearlessness in the core of my being that sustain me when I am assailed by real or imagined fearful threats. I challenge you to find your own paths to peace instead of continuing to worry about what might never happen anyway. As we face our current national crises, terrorist threats, job losses, and our personal life situations, we must allow God to comfort our hearts by accepting His challenge to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. Thanks again for staying with us on Time for Hope. Our guest for today is Dr. Gregory Jantz, and we're talking about his book, Anxiety, Worry, and Fear. And Gregory, I haven't mentioned, it has a subtitle, Practical Ways to Find Peace.
Yeah.
Peace is the opposite of anxiety. It's interesting, if we go to Philippians 4:6 in the Holy Bible, God says that we're not to be, He doesn't say we're not to be anxious. Sometimes we need to be anxious about something. We're not to be overly anxious, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let our requests or our concerns be made known unto Him. And you've got the word, and the peace that passeth all understanding. Will come from Him as a result of our following that prescribed path.
That's right. That's right. And you know, peace comes again when we have a plan for it. And that's why I say steps. Now, maybe you've been living an anxious life for a long, long time. And that's why we got to go, okay, what's going on in my body? So we got to treat physical issues. What's going on in my brain? Maybe some brain chemistries are off. How am I doing my self-care? What's going in my mouth? Am I actually eating and drinking things that cause my body physically to be anxious? The guy that not long ago that was doing, I don't even know how it's possible, but he claims he was doing 10 pots of coffee a day. That's basically just drinking coffee out. Okay, and he was given a pill for his anxiousness, but he created all kinds of problems with all that caffeine. And yes, like me, he was from Seattle. So as we look at anxiousness, we've got to again look at what are the things that we're doing that are creating that problem. And it may take a while to get out of this because it's a rebuilding. You know, I went through...
It also takes intentionality, wanting to get out of it. You know the guy that lay at the pool of Bethesda for 38 years? The first question Jesus asked him when he approached him was, do you want to get well? So it's got to start with a want to change. You agree with that?
Well, I think if you have anxiousness, don't just settle for it being a normal way of life. Go, no, I want to live differently. And I may not know what the solution is, I may not even know what the cause is, but having the want to live differently really would be the first step.
Yeah, so there would have to be that want to there. There are people that are just constant worriers. Is that learned behavior or does it come through the genes?
Well, I think worry is probably learned. I think of even our kids in the household. They can learn from us because of the words we're speaking. And I think we are living right now in a generation of anxious children. They're learning it. And if they're learning anxiousness, then we're creating more and more anxiety. That's why anxiety and depression are the two most prescribed medications that we have. Now, most people for a while, they go, okay, I got some relief, but we've got to be willing to get to the core issues.
We've got to help ourselves, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Even praying and asking the Lord to help, we've still got to help ourselves.
Well, I think it's really important, sometimes we can cry out, oh, Lord, take this away from me. But I think sometimes we need to also pray, Lord, give me the discernment, show me what's missing, what do I need to do, what are the missing pieces to the puzzle?
And we've got to be willing to accept what He shows us.
And take some action,
absolutely. And take some action.
Yes.
Yes. Why is it that women are more women are prone to experience what we're talking about than men?
I think there's multiple reasons. One is just body chemistry issues, hormonal issues. We know that when the progesterone levels are off and the estrogen levels are off, one of the things that can happen is depression and anxiety. And so, again, we're back to creating balance in our bodies.
And then you and I talked about it off camera. I saw it somewhere in your book about these brain patterns being changed. We don't have to remain in the same rut that we've always been in. And we don't have to let the past be our present and future. And they're learning a lot about the brain these days. And this is called neuroplasticity, wherein it explains that we can really grow new, neurons that are regenerated, so to speak, and new connections within the brains, what I call recharging the brain, or I believe they refer to it as a genesis or regenesis, and so forth. And new patterns can be formed in the brain, so we can get rid of the old and make and form new patterns in the brain. That's very encouraging, isn't it?
God has created us, absolutely. So part of it is there's always a missing piece to the puzzle, maybe multiple pieces to the puzzle.
All right, so how do we get relief? Our viewers have heard about all of this that we're talking about. How do you experience relief from anxiety, worry, and fear?
Well, again, we're looking at the whole person, and we've got to look emotionally. Am I carrying around old baggage? Am I carrying around hurts and resentments and unforgiveness? You know what? If I've got unforgiveness buried in my life, I'm poisoning myself, and that can create anxiety. So I've got to look at what emotionally. Where's my emotional health? What is it I'm dragging along? Obviously, we talked about the physical and the body chemistry.
So we've got to learn to let go, haven't we?
Sure. And
relax. And you mentioned ways of doing that in your book, and we'll wait and let them order the book and get some of those answers. But the Serenity Prayer means a whole lot to me, Gregory.
Yes,
it's not just meant for alcoholics. Reinhold Niebuhr wrote that. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just repeating that daily could help. You agree?
Well, I think that retrains us a different way of handling things.
Yes, and then the Lord's Prayer also could fit in to bringing this peace and relieving us of these anxieties and fears that keep us, as you brought out, like a prisoner, tied up as a prisoner.
Well, that's what anxiety and fear does. It ties us up. It paralyzes us.
And, well, do you have any final words for our viewers?
Yes. I do believe that there's always hope, no matter what and how long you've carried this. This could be the day that you reach out and say, I'm going to do something different. Because again, there is always a missing piece to the puzzle.
It's a good time because we're in the new year, and it's a good time to do something.
I'm going to live differently this year.
I'm going to live differently this year. It takes that resolve, and also the belief that God loves them, and the belief that He will help them if they ask Him.
Yes.
You and I agree on that.
Amen.
Thanks again, Gregory.
You're
Appreciate so much coming and being a part of this ministry in Time for Hope. And I pray the Lord's blessings on your ministry.
It's teamwork.
It's teamwork, isn't it? And we want to stay
Yes.
as a team. And then I have some things I need to share with you as we go off for today. I have a note from one of our viewers that reads, "Dear Dr. Freda, please pray for God's guidance for me. I am a widow who is often locked in fear, anxiety, and depression. I need prayer to meet the right friends, find a good church, and get the help I so desperately need to figure out my life and God's divine plan for me and my 2 daughters." It could not have been said better. Had I been advising her, she knows exactly what her needs are, and where she also needs to know, she knows where she needs to go. We must have that if we're going to make the necessary changes in our lives to experience peace and joy and let go of worry and fear and so forth. We must know where we want to go and what we want to do with our lives and what needs to be done in our lives, and she's nailed it. And we certainly have already taken this situation to our Heavenly Father in prayer. And then we get back notes that we're very appreciative of, saying, God has intervened. You've prayed for me, and others have prayed for me, and God has intervened, and He will. We have no doubt about that when we take a situation to God in prayer. So join us in prayer for those that ask for prayer. Join us in prayer for me and the staff, and also for the mission and ministry of Time for Hope. And then we do ask that you consider helping us and becoming a teammate with us in this ministry by helping us financially.
Thank you for watching Time for Hope, a ministry of Hope for Living Media Church and Bible Study Time Incorporated. We offer a free fact sheet with more information on today's topic. Call or write us to get your copy today. The resource we are offering this week is available for a donation of at least $12 to the Time for Hope ministry. Any additional donation you wish to send will be greatly appreciated. Call us at 800-669-9133. Write us at Post Office Box 2169, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. Or visit our website at timeforhope.org. As we continue to give out messages of hope, a financial gift of any amount to support the Time for Hope ministry will be greatly appreciated. When you send us a gift, you are joining in the ministry to which God has called us, and we greatly appreciate your teaming up with us in extending God's kingdom. Call us at 800-669-9133. We also encourage you to look for Dr. Freda's scriptural devotionals on our Time for Hope TV ministry Facebook page, joining with the many others who are already appreciating them. Until next time, have a great week, and remember, it is time for hope.